They're like my favorite podcast to listen to.
Get a sound check.
All right.
Yeah!
You have you laughing all over this thing.
Dude, I love them.
Here we go! It's the Tryforce.
So I've been going through Resident Evil 5, just trying to prepare for this podcast, and a thought occurred to me during the playthrough of it. I know that's never a good thing, but hear me out. So
it's a dangerous pastime.
It is a very dangerous pastime. But there's a section in Resident Evil 5 where you're going through these like ancient African ruins, and like they're super intricate, and they have like all these machines and mechanisms. You pull chains, and staircases like come up and staircases come down, like they fall in stones and slabs of stone. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't we have this in fucking modern times? You know, like when you see all these ancient ruins, like you pull a fucking lever and all of a sudden the floor comes out from under you and just reveals a staircase. Like that would be fucking awesome. Imagine like you guys coming to do the podcast and it's like, I'm gonna go get something from the fridge. You and Rain have to like pull a giant like skull on my wall. Fucking like
that's already too much work for me.
Like an entire corridor opens up and just stairs rise from the fucking floor. Why don't we do that more as a society? We have better technology to do that now. I'm sure it can be done.
I don't know if the answer will be known to us. I think scholars left the translation years ago. I think that there's no way for us to really know.
Like, I would love that, to just press a button and make stairs in my house. That would be fucking amazing.
Where are you making stairs?
I don't fucking know. I think that's a plan in progress.
I mean, Colton, you want to know why we don't do that?
Why is that?
Because we're poor.
Well,
right.
That's like a rich person thing.
Yeah, button stairs is exclusively for a certain tax bracket, and that is it, my friend.
You know what
Like,
isn't a rich person thing?
That.
I'll tell you what isn't the rich person thing is other technology that I saw there. Putting a snake in a pot and just waiting for somebody to, break it. Looking for ammo. We're playing Resident Evil, or we're talking about Resident Evil today. I saw so many snakes in pots, and I didn't like them.
Yeah.
I really did not like that.
That is a running thing in Resident Evil.
Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of that.
Yeah. In 4, snakes, like, you could break open boxes, and the snakes were in there. They're in barrels. They're in pots in 5. So yeah, it's like a running thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is just fucking amazing to see Chris Redfield break a pot, kill a snake, take the egg that it dropped, and eat it immediately. It is a fucking ride.
I think that I had not received any sort of knowledge of Chris Redfield. I knew he existed. I had heard the name, but I watched some of this game today. Some of it, definitely a little bit of it. And I gotta say, I have never, in my 25 years, in my extensive study of literature and history, I have never seen a more white bread, milk toast, fucking literally my name is Chris ass protagonist in my entire life.
It's bad.
He literally just looks like the poster boy for American football.
He has he's got the same amount of spice as like Miracle Whip. I don't understand. I
don't think you're gonna understand.
No, I mean, I do love Chris as a character, but he's literally just like if a vanilla milkshake was a human being.
That is good. That is a good one. I think
I'm glad that you like Chris now.
Yeah,
because come the next game in the series, that's not going to be the case.
We might not be huge fans of Chris Redfield.
Resident Evil 6? No, I don't think you will.
Right, which we're also supposed to be touching on today?
Yes,
Question mark? Yeah.
we'll be briefly talking about Resident Evil 6.
Cool.
But Resident Evil 5, I was kind of shitting on this game last week, and I think it was only because like I was looking at it in comparison to 4. When you look at it in comparison to 4, it is not a good game. But, like, when you look at it after a long time and kind of, like, distance yourself from that comparison, it was kind of fun to play through again. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, there's a few things I'd like to point out, but overall we'll just talk about the story of it. It's a fucked up story. It continues the Las Plagas series from 4. So it's basically just, instead of in Spain, it's in Africa, and, you know, we're finding about all these biological terrorists going around. This guy named Irving is supposed to be our, you know, intelligence on the matter. By the way, can I just say something about Irving? I'm so glad. I am so glad we killed Great Value Joey Wheeler. It is my favorite.
Right.
That's him.
It is. He is such an irritating character. Like, it's just. Like,
he really felt like if Staten Island was a person. When
he
I was
looks like
watching
a
it.
possum stood up and put on a fucking disco suit. It's terrible. Like, it's fucking awful. But I think him as a character in this game was really important, as much as I didn't like him. You know, it was just kind of, it's crazy, this whole story. Now, obviously we want to start at the beginning of this. We meet Sheva. What was her last name? Alamar?
I have it right. Alamar, yes.
Yeah, Sheva Alamar. And she and Chris Redfield, as we mentioned before, are investigating the Las Plagas outbreak in Africa. So they go and...
Specifically in the fictional, I think it's I can't remember.
It's like a village.
Fictional, it's fictional region Kijuju, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole region.
In Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, they're tasked on apprehending Irving, who is selling bioorganic weaponry on the black market.
Classic.
Wow.
Good job. Very, very good job, Irving. And they corner him, and actually before that, they meet up with this guy who, he was like a contact just in that general region. I don't think, did he ever have a name?
Is it Josh?
No. I want to talk about him later, though. I love him. But it's the butcher guy. You know, the one.
The butcher.
Yeah, who gets butchered like 2 seconds later. But
Right. This is the crossover that they did with Witcher, right? The Butcher of Blaviken, Geralt of Rivia is there, obviously, right?
Absolutely,
yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Glad we're all on the same page.
But yeah, absolutely. So we meet up with him, find out where Irving is, and then we see this contact that we found get executed. Can I just say that the executioner in this game is fucking awesome, and I love the design for it. It is very strange, the axe that it has. It's got like spikes on it, which is totally like contrary to an executioner's axe, and it also has like a meat tenderizer on the back for some fucking reason.
Listen, you have to be, you know,
you gotta be thorough.
Exactly.
But like, what are you doing with the meat tenderizer? All right.
You don't know what he does after he
You're very right. I do know what he does after that.
Don't you dare
he comes
judge this man.
He tries to come and kill Chris and Sheva. That's what he does after that.
Yeah,
but
you've got some weird hobbies too, Colton.
I do. Definitely not beheading
contact. That's one of my favorite
contact.
parts of the game.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool part of the game. But
playing through that is a time.
Yeah. Especially like when that's one of the first things you do in the entire game. So basically when you go through, like Resident Evil 4, these people aren't exactly zombies. You know, they're just kind of infected with Las Plagas, which is a parasite that takes over the mind and the body. So we see this happen, you know, they're kind of hiding in plain sight in the first part of the game, and then you enter this section of Kijuju, and everybody is hostile. So you got to make it through, you got to make it to Irving, and this guy called Kirk comes around, and he's providing air support for you, and then, what was it, you find, you go to this part and you find this woman who's like screaming for help, and then you have to go around. Once you find her, she's like already turned into a parasite, but she's turned into this like really like worm-like thing. What are those? Are they called anything specific? Or are they just like?
I believe it's Los Wormes, actually.
Okay. I don't know if you're joking or not.
I don't know the Spanish word for worm. I'm sorry.
Well, I think the ones that are turned in this aren't really the Las Plagas. I think it has a different name in this game.
No, because they said it in one of the diaries.
No, it's a different. Sorry, it's the same thing. It's a different strain.
Oh, okay.
So like they dub it the Magini.
The Magini, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's technically what they're
they are, yeah. I mean, but it's extremely similar to the Las Plagas. I think they're just more powerful, is the thing. But
more fucking annoying.
Yeah,
they are.
Really fucking are. I saw like, you know, the bigger guys that come out, they're not necessarily like mutated, but they're just like big chunky guys that come out. And I saw one of these big guys take like 8 shotgun blasts to the face and not go down. So that was, those are irritating. But long story short, you get through and you have to meet up with, I believe it was Alpha Team first you have to meet up with. And Alpha Team is basically, a group of militants from the BSAA, which is like, it's like a counter bioterrorism group, right?
Right.
Yes, it's the Bioterrorism Secured Assessment Alliance.
Okay, yeah, so you meet up with them, and you're basically there to figure out what the fuck is going on. So, turns out, Alpha Team was ganked by an unidentified bioweapon, which I would love to spend like a few minutes talking about, because that thing is fucking crazy. So, before that, we get like, we see Kirk and his helicopter get shot down. Then once we go to the crash site and find Kirk, we get attacked by a literal fucking biker gang of zombies. So, which is just so quintessentially Resident Evil. But I just love how ridiculous this game is. Rain, do you have anything to say about this so far?
I'm so sorry, you cut out and I missed it.
Oh, I said, do you have anything to say about it so far?
No, I missed what you said before that.
Oh,
about his biker gang full of zombies?
Yeah.
Time to be alive. You have to picture this. Like, imagine being like, hey, we just need you to go stop this dude selling some shit on the black market, and then you stumble across biker gang of zombies.
Yeah.
Like, just...
Why they don't just quit?
My resignation letter would have been already done. I would have been like, I'm leaving. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I don't know why I keep signing up for this shit.
Zach, here's the fun part. They could have at one point of the game. They were given that option. So, but Chris was like, no.
I have to be the hero because I don't know how to operate in any other fashion.
I wish you were
from
wrong.
America. I'm the hero.
I wish you were
pretty
wrong.
Much what that is.
I really do wish you were wrong, but it's really not that wrong. But so you get attacked by a biker gang of zombies, you beat the biker gang of zombies, and you meet up with what is left of Alpha Team. And what happened is you actually hear them getting attacked, and you hear them, getting killed. And then you go into this, I think it was like a furnace facility or something like that, and you see this monster that's just like, you actually saw it at the beginning of the game. There's this hooded figure at the very first cutscene. Zach, you were watching a little bit of it. You remember the hooded figure with the plague doctor mask?
I'd never forget a plague doctor mask. Not
Absolutely.
Once in my life. So, yeah.
You do know that character. I'm going to spoil that for you now.
Yes.
But you see it put a hand on the guy's head, and it like all these little black worms start going in and out and like taking him over.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so we find out what the fuck happened there. We find that guy, and he basically turns into this fucking just humanoid, like this biped worm human creature. And it's like, it is so cool looking. It's terrifying. It is awful to look at, but it's like at the same time cool. And you have to kill it by leading it into, like an incineration room and incinerating it. That's the only way to kill it. So
would the word you were searching for there be incinerator?
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Absolutely.
No, you were right there. Right.
He
really.
was so close.
I said both other iterations of the word before arriving at that. But yeah, so you got to lead it into the incinerator and burn it. And then you find
Someone asks Colton, is like, hey, do you have an incinerator? He's like, no, we have a place where we burn shit, though. It's right down the wall. It's right down the hall.
We have an incinerator room.
I have a room where I incinerate things.
But no, not an incinerator.
No.
Colton, I think I'm going to buy you a shredder, but it's not a shredder. Like, it's just a machine that feeds a piece of paper into an ever-burning flame, just like constantly by your desk side.
I would love that. Do you know how much use I'd get out of that?
Get some marshmallows.
Absolutely. Just have I would just love to have like a Minecraft lava block in my house just to throw shit that I don't want into. But,
Valid.
you know, that would make cleanup so much easier. But so you kill this thing and you meet up with another team named Delta Team, who's basically another squad who's there to help you out. And you meet this guy named Delta Team, the fucking goats. I love them. You like Sheva and Chris get cornered in a room. I guess no, they were actually the ones I think that helped you through the bikers.
You can really tell that Colton spent the last 6 or 8 hours watching all of this.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. So they're the ones that helped you out with the bikers, and you meet Josh, who's the leader of Delta Team. Do we have a last name for Josh?
Stone.
Josh Stone. Yes. What a fucking awesome name. He is amazing. And I am super hyped for this character. But we meet up with him. We find out that he was kind of like Sheva's mentor, and that Sheva was a little like kind of part of Delta Squad for a while, which is why she's so fucking good at what she does. So we get a little interaction with them. We find out from Delta Team kind of what's going on. You know, we find out that the virus is called the Magini, and that, you know, that they're terrorizing everyone, and that there's somebody like Irving is planning to infect the entirety of Africa and change the landscape of the world with this fucking thing. So,
yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, literally. And you're gonna like what happens to him. So, I mean, you get a lot of cool stuff with this game. You get a lot of cool sequences. You get a lot of vehicle missions, which I really appreciate. You get that part where you're driving through the savannas with the Humvee, and you have turrets on the back. Why is my brain like shorting out today? You have the turrets on the back, and you're just shooting all of these guys on motorcycles and trucks coming after you. And it's just such a fucking cool game. And I mean, I could talk for the rest of the podcast, but Rain, I mean, you've played this too, so I want to hear your opinions on this.
I've played this game multiple times. I actually played it maybe about a month ago. With my roommate, because I was like, have you ever played it? And he was like, no. And I was like, sit your fucking ass down, because you're gonna play it now. Like,
you couldn't have learned today.
I was like, boy. This is actually coming from 4, like you had said earlier. It looks like such a shit game, but it's actually on its own. Like, if it is as a standalone game, I think it was really well done.
Yeah, it was.
Think I understand, like, the story wasn't the best it could have been.
It was very, like, by that. Very early 2000s.
Like, you knew that at this point they were actually really trying to, like, be like, okay, we're not just, like, here to shoot zombies, like, we're really gonna emphasize our plot, but, you know, you still knew, okay, something's going on. Gotta go shoot some things. It's the goddamn T virus, G virus, whatever virus it is this time. Here we go.
I think it's like the progenitor virus this fucking time or something like that.
I think it's the C virus is this one. Like, this is the C. You find the plant where the T and the G virus
Yep.
were being made from. So it's like, it's a lot. But
Yeah.
I enjoy this game. I've played this game so much that I spent a lot of time trying to get through it just using my knife and no gun.
Yeah, I find the knife.
Surprisingly doable.
I find the knife very useless in the game. Like, I'm just hacking
here's
away
my
at an
thing.
individual zombie for 28 minutes and just not going down.
Yeah, see, like, my whole thing with that is that my brother has literally played Resident Evil 4 with a knife only, so I was like, I'm gonna do it too. You can't control
How did
partners, so they're out shooting people.
How
and
did
I'm
he
like,
fucking
I
do
have a
that?
knife.
There's so many bosses where you can't, like, you have to shoot.
Oh yeah, no, if you have to you know what I mean? Like, the game physically does not allow you to use your knife, of course you shoot it. But anything else, if I can stab it, it's being stabbed.
That is the greatest. That's hilarious.
I mean, he does have a fucking giant, like, machete on his back at all times, and he's very, very conservative with it. And I feel like it would be
Very.
such a good weapon in this time. But,
Oh, can I talk about? There's the. Are we going sequentially through the plot here? Or are we continuing on? Because there's
Yeah.
a big twist about the hooded figure with the plague doctor mask.
Which is why I said you know that character.
Right. So I'm gonna like D&D. I'm gonna hold my initiative until that comes up.
Yes, definitely. But so where was I? I totally forgot. Is that bad?
Delta Team.
Delta Team.
Oh,
So-
I think we're getting up to the part where you're following Irving's trail.
Oh yeah, fucking. We go through the mines. I think at that point. And the mine sequence was really, really cool. I liked that you actually had to hold a lantern and, work your way through the tunnels. And if you wanted to shoot, you had to actually put the lantern down. And it was like really scary and really well done, really beautifully atmospheric. And then when you come out, obviously I forgot what happens in the mine already. What boss do you fight in the mine? Do you remember?
Oh, come on.
I remember
No.
you had to there's a lot of dual puzzles in there where where Sheva had to do stuff and you had to do stuff and let her through.
With the lasers and shit. Is this the part with the lasers?
No, this is not the part with the lasers yet.
Oh
That's
my God. Okay,
that's in the African
my brain
ruins.
just remembers the part with the fucking lasers.
Yeah, and I have a gripe about that. But anyway, you follow Irving through the mines, and you eventually corner him, and his partner with the plague doctor mask, as you find out, bails him out. So you're basically chasing the both of them. Then I don't remember where you go after the mines. Oh my God, Zach, you have the Wikipedia page. Help me out here. If you just guide me in the right direction.
Mines. The mines. Humans. Yes, a hooded figure. Marshy oil fields. Irving's deal is to occur. I'm not seeing anything about a mine in here, Chief, but
I mean, I see that they go to the cave. Like, that's where I'm at.
That's probably
If
what it
you're
is.
looking
Yeah.
Yeah, because after that, that's how they end up at the plant where the TNG virus is being made.
so yeah, it says that Chris, Shiva, and Delta teams close in on Irving. Escapes with the aid of a hooded figure. Irving leads documents that lead Chris and Shiva to Marshy oil field.
Yes. That's what it was. So basically, this hooded figure gets Irving out of there. They find a journal of where they're going next, and they find that they're doing testing on innocent people at a marshy oil field. So that's where the next level is. You're basically going through on a fucking airboat, which I think was really cool, and you're going through the marshlands, and you come up on this primitive village of tribal people, I guess, but and they have like all the traditional African scenery, which is crazy, and it's just beautifully done. But like, you see that they're all infected, and these are clearly people that, did not want contact with the outside world. So you're led to believe that these people who are experimenting on them kind of just barged in and did their experiments and then left, which is terrible. So you got to go collect all these pieces of an emblem or like a slate, and it unlocks a door at the end. Not really much to say there. It's just like a huge, long mission. Once you're done there, you actually head into the oil part of it, and the oil processing part of it, and you fight these fuckers with chainsaws. And can I just talk about them too? Like, sure. They are too tough. You know what I mean? Guys? The chainsaw guys are way too tough. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you have to unload an entire shotgun clip and then an entire sniper rifle clip into them, I think they're a little tough. You know what I mean? Why
do I not remember it being like that bad?
It wasn't bad. Maybe I was just playing on a harder difficulty, but like, just shit. Like a proximity bomb, an entire clip of shotgun shells, and then like an entire clip of Dragunov shells. Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's because my last playthrough was with a knife.
It might have been.
What do you mean? I'm just out here slicing and dicing.
How long did that take you?
We don't need to discuss how long it took me to do that.
Oh my god, Rain's on day 6 of straight play.
How many times I died. We don't want to.
I could imagine, based on some of the fucking enemies that are in this game. Like, I really don't understand how you took out the fucking bat thing. Like, the bat bug thing. With just the knife.
Don't. Knife.
That I don't.
Don't
simply knife.
Just understand that with the power of the knife, you can accomplish all in your lifetime. Thank you.
A knife can accomplish all in your life.
I do have to say something about the part of the game that we're talking about, though. Because if I'm recalling correctly from this, you're on the airboat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this one area, and it might just be the area you were just talking about, where you have to go through the water a lot, but not with the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many fucking times an alligator fucking killed me?
Yeah. So Zach, I don't know if you know, but
don't.
You know that animals can contract these viruses and mutations as well?
I'm good. I really wish I didn't know that. So there's zombie crocodiles.
There are giant mutant zombie crocodiles whose faces open up horizontally.
I have never been students, gotta say.
They're a lot of fun, and by that I mean 0% fun, because if you're me and you're focused on the task at hand, you don't exactly notice that they're in the water.
Yeah, and it was the worst because it was even worse for me when I was going through when I first had to go into the water. I just walked in, and then I just saw one out of the corner of my eye, and it was just the fucking eyes popping out of the water, and I was like, ah! Like, it was just, oh god, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It was the fucking worst, and then it comes out of the water, and it's 3 times your size.
Oh my god, no thanks.
And its face opens up sideways, and I'm like, no, none, absolutely none of that, please. And then there's 8 of them, as it turns out. And I'm like, good.
Oh yeah.
Good.
The worst is when they all show up at once, and you're just like, oh cool, this is it.
Oh, it's so fucking bad. And then the fucking gondola part that you have to go through when you're literally just waiting on the water on a log raft and a rope, and Sheva's just cranking you along the marsh, and you have to dodge the fucking alligators. Fuck that.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Oh, Zach, I will say
Resident
though,
Evil 5, good time.
I will say though, Zach, there is a part of this
Sure
mission
sounds like, oh, yeah.
where you come up upon a chicken coop and you kill all the chickens in there.
I'm in.
So,
How much?
You can get all the eggs, and fucking Chris Redfield will crack an egg on his bullet pouch on his right leg and just eat the fucking egg immediately and raw, and it is just
Gross. Resident
horrible.
Evil 5 buy now.
I think it's like $30 on Steam.
$14.
Is
Come
it
on.
really $14?
Here's the deal. I love doing this when we podcast about certain games to figure out where the depreciation has come.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 5 right now for the Xbox One is $19.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 5 for the Xbox 360. I have a refurbished copy with free shipping for $10.
Yeah, man.
I bought it, I think, at GameStop used for $5.
Yeah. It's
so
rough.
you can, and that was like maybe a little bit after that game came out. So
It's definitely
You can
like the
imagine.
Dead Island of the Resident Evil games. It started out really good and then just depreciated so fucking hard. But
yeah,
I mean, then we get to let's see, where else? Then after that, we do the boat part. You know, we get the vehicle part where the boats are chasing us, and we have to
Yep,
shoot all
I
the
love
zombies
that.
off the boats. Oh, it was so. But fucking Josh comes through. Like,
Yeah,
and
Josh is the guy.
Josh Stone fucking comes through and just drives the boat for you, and you catch up to Irving, and just fucking Irving, man. Like, you get a cutscene with him where the hooded figures, like, you have to kill them at all costs, or you have to protect yourself at all costs, even if you have to use this. And you, like, the hooded figure hands Irving this, like, lightsaber looking thing, but it's actually an injection tube, like a really, really fancy one. So you see him pull that out when he's confronted by Sheva and Chris, and he injects it into his neck, and he starts mutating like super fast. Like, you see tentacles shoot out his back. He's like, what does he say? He's like, what was his big quote there? It was like, I'm better than you'll ever be, or something like that. I don't fucking remember, but he's just dumb Irving shit. So he jumps off the boat into the water, and all of a sudden these gigantic fucking tentacles like literally cracking the boat. Like, they just, like, from both sides are just pounding the boat. And then you see this squid crocodile alien thing, which is now Irving. And, like, it's a boss fight, and it is the scariest creature I've ever seen. It takes all of my worst nightmares and wraps them into one.
well, you know, we love the Ouroboros here.
Oh,
We stand
love an Ouroboros, especially when it's a crocodile squid.
Yeah, when all the tentacles are going through the boat.
Mm-hmm. And when you shoot the tentacles with rockets, they don't fucking do anything. So,
No, because you have to shoot, if I recall correctly, with the Ouroboros, you have to shoot spots specifically that glow
Yeah.
on it. If you don't shoot the orange glowy spot, it doesn't do anything to it. I think you'll see it, like, lose some wormy bits.
yeah.
That's about it.
Which is terrible to think about, but you eventually get to break the tentacles, and you see Irving, like, in this little, like, goop pod. Like, he's in this, like, he almost looks like an organ of this thing, basically, but he like, he controls the whole thing. So imagine a giant mutant crocodile squid with Irving's personality. So it's a fun time. So after you beat that, you like, he flops onto the boat, and he's just, like, dying, obviously. And Chris is like, he does the protagonist thing. Who are you? What are you doing here? Like, what are the Ouroboros? Like, it really is that. Like, Rain, am I right? Like,
That's pretty much it. And like with his like dying words, he literally is just like, "Oh, let me, lead them on a fucking goose chase to like a place that's not really where I'm gonna say it is."
Yeah, he's like, all your answers are in that cave. If you survive, it's very like 90s, and I'm super happy about it. But let's see. Then we go into one of the coolest parts of the game, which is what I made a joke about earlier in the episode. We're in the African ruins, which is just this super intricate and beautifully designed level. I really do love it. Like, I stood there for so long just kind of taking in the design, but it's full of a lot of traps, as ancient corridors usually are. So you have to deal with those, deal with the zombies, and there are a lot of duo puzzles in there where you have to pull 2 chains, and you'll see you have to, like, you see these statues in the corners, and they're holding skulls, and the skulls have chains dangling from them, and Sheva and Chris both have to pull the chains at the same time in order for a new passageway to open. So you get a lot of that bullshit. But there's one part, actually, a quick gripe about this level, where Chris and Sheva get separated. Remember when the Majini push a pillar down and it crushes the bridge that they were on, and then they get separated?
Yeah.
I would have loved if they expanded on that a lot more, because there's a lot cooler duo puzzles you could have done from like both sides of the map, but they like immediately get rejoined, and it's just like, what was the fucking point?
Like, what is it? There's like, oh, you do like one thing while they're separated.
You fight one horde of Majini, and then they meet up again. It's like, come on. Like, if you're gonna go through all the trouble to set up a cutscene and destroy part of the level for that, give me more! But whatever. Then you go through the whole thing and you get the fucking... This is the laser part, by the way.
Lasers.
Oh my god, the laser part was so annoying.
This is the laser part.
Annoying.
So Zach, they have these like jade crystals in this like monument, and there's cracks in the wall that allow sunlight in. So they focus the sunlight through the jade crystal and make a primitive laser.
Okay.
Yeah, man, which is why I'm saying, why don't we have this bullshit now? This is like prime time for that.
Well, probably starting off because it's not literally possible, but go on.
That might just be one reason.
Listen, nothing is impossible. So, I kind of love and hate this part at the same time, because I hate it because it's irritating, and it just comes in intervals, like perfect intervals. I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, I'm glad that there's a break in the lasers, but what? It's a sunbeam. It doesn't need to reload. Wouldn't it just, keep going? You know what I mean?
No. Video game logic.
It's light. It's just, the sun doesn't reload. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So, you have to get through that. You have to do all these, like, one corridor puzzles, and you have to avoid these fucking lasers. And then at the end of it, you come to, I believe it's... you get through these fireball traps, and it's such a cool level. Rain, do you remember this one?
Trying to remember. It's been a hot minute since I actually went through like the entire game.
Right.
Oh my god. Pretty much, I just remember the part where you escape the lasers, but then you have to do the laser fucking puzzles.
Oh yeah, the laser. I actually like the laser puzzles. Those were kind of fun.
No, my problem is that I'd be fucking moving them, and then the partner walks right in front of the fucking laser and dies. And then you have to start over again. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, stay in the corner. And they're like, Chris, let me help, guys. And I'm like, you were so helpful.
Thanks,
Wow, look how helpful you were.
I do kind of love how they also have their own separate inventory, but it really does slow the fucking game down when your inventory is full and then theirs isn't. You have to like coax them over to go pick up items, you know?
Oh my god.
But I do think that was funny. I had that happen a few times, where Sheva just got fucking bisected by a primitive laser, but it's totally fine. These things happen, you know? So.
Oh yeah.
But then you find the actual umbrella facility that's hidden here. This is where you first find the flowers that we were talking about earlier that contain the T and the G virus, I think.
Yep. All of them.
So yeah, you find those, and you find out that Umbrella is experimenting with these flowers with Tricell, another pharmaceutical company. Basically, most pharmaceutical companies are evil, and this is probably happening in real life. Just want to, let that...
Oh, yeah.
But to elaborate really quick, the Tricell company funds what Chris and Shiva work for.
Yeah, so they fund the BSAA.
BSAA.
Yeah, like, there's so many fucking acronyms in this game. But yeah, so they fund the BSAA, which is fucking crazy. So essentially, they're funding their own like enemy, I guess. Does that make sense?
They're doing the thing where they do if.
Oh, so they're being paid off for their silence, pretty much?
You think about it like this. They're funding them, and they're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, go look at all of this stuff, go do this, go fight all of these other people doing this exact same thing we're doing, but we're just not going to tell you we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we meet the head of Tricella. Is she the head of Tricella? Excella? She's not the head, right?
She is the CEO.
She's the CEO. Okay, so she is the head. So we see her with Albert Wesker. And
Albert Wesker. 7 minutes.
It's so fucking cheesy. So we see her inject Wesker with something, and she's like, "You're going to need a new right hand. You're going to need a new partner, right?" And he's like, "Yes." And
exactly like that.
It's more or less like that. And so we see that they're working together, and we see that the hooded figure is there as well, alerting Albert and Excella to the presence of Chris and Sheva. And it's at this point where we start seeing some familiar enemies. We start seeing fucking lickers again. Remember those?
Yes.
Yeah, those are good. Except these ones look kind of cool. These are like more lizardy than the other ones.
They're smooth.
Yeah, they are, they're not like just people turned inside out, which I'm really happy about that they didn't go that route with these ones. And then at the end of this level, we find out that there's like a bunch of human tanks, like scattered around this hole. Zach, do you remember this is going to sound so fucking weird, but to put it into perspective for you, do you remember in Halo when they had like the tomb of the Arbiter and there was just like 1,000 of them like in a circle? Like,
oh yeah,
it's that, but in Resident Evil, and it's with live people. So yeah, but. So we see that, and, Chris is like, oh my god. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is at that point when we saw Alpha Team this was way back. Delta Team gets killed, and Josh is the only one left. We see Delta Team get killed, and this is the point where Chris and Sheva don't have orders anymore. Right? I forgot. I totally glossed over this, and this was supposed to be specifically for you, Zach. So, so this is Chris and Sheva don't have orders at that point anymore. Once they see Delta Team done, because they're done, Right. They were given an order to retreat. And Chris goes, the woman in the picture on the data file that this guy gave me, part of Delta Team, she looks like Jill. I have to go find Jill.
He sure does. He's very interested in finding Joe Valentine.
Yeah, and Sheva's just like, you're fucking stupid. I'm gonna go with you because you're not gonna do it alone. And like,
Sheva knows if Chris was left to his own devices, he would be dead.
Absolutely. Like, Chris's survival through all of the games have been completely dependent upon his partners. So, like, it's true. Like, Chris knows that bullets don't hurt Wesker, yet he continues to shoot him. So,
hey man, what else are you gonna do?
Do something else. Like, something different. But so that's really funny, and I just think that it's amazing that when they both meet up with Josh is like, what the fuck are you two doing? You're supposed to go. Like, go home. And Chris is like, chill. It's so fucking funny. So at that point, they get to that chamber of people, like the almost like a modern mausoleum type thing. Okay. And he's like, this must be where Jill is, because this is the facility in the picture. So he like types it into the computer and brings them down to a pod. But before they get down there, there's a boss fight. There's just like this creature stuck to the wall, and then it just like starts moving, and it turns out to be a lot fucking bigger than it looked first time. And for some reason, in this human mausoleum is a giant enemy crab.
Oh, and, love.
Yeah. Honestly valid, though.
It is a giant enemy crab, and it does have a weak spot that you can hit for massive damage. You just have to put grenades in its mouth, and I think that's fun. It was a very fun boss battle to just see this fucking giant mutated T-virus crab just scuttling around. But
well, as you said, animals can virus as well, as you said.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a good time. Definitely a good time. So you beat the giant enemy crab. You find out that Jill isn't in the pod, and he's like, "Where is she?" And then you see Excella come up and be like, "I don't know where Jill is." And he's like, "You're lying," and she's like, "Bye." So, Rain, am I wrong?
That's honestly pretty much. At this point, Chris's entire mindset is just, my partner was alive, we have to get her. And it's like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know if you want to go down that path.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's where I'm at my playthrough right now. But I'm at the point now where I'm starting to fight Ouroboros, which are totally different. They're like, basically, Ouroboros was that worm creature I was talking about before. Yes. And I kind of fucking love those. They are kind of cool. And you get to fight another one, and you have to kill it the same way. Lead it to an incinerator. And it's...
Fire!
Yeah, it really is. These are so fucking hard to kill, and I really love the designs of them. So... that's where my knowledge ends of Resident Evil 5, except I know who the hooded figure is. And Zach, I know you want to do this, so.
Oh, I've been holding it in like a long car ride this whole time. So I'm watching, right? I'm not really, I got the sense that you guys would be able to do most of the heavy lifting this evening. So I was watching back and forth. And then I see this character with the hood, and I'm a huge love of the Plague Doctor mask. So I paid extra special attention when that character was on screen. And lo and behold, they take their mask off. Mask on, mask off, as they say. And it is none other than one Jill Valentine, who is being mind controlled by Albert Wesker.
Yeah, dude, I really do dig Jill Valentine's Zero Suit Samus look.
Yeah, I love a heel turn that doesn't last too long, Like, I was just going through some art of, I watched at least a little bit of the last Star Wars movie to come out. and they did a lot of art of Sith Rey, like if she was to go to the dark side. So like I really enjoy evil Jill for a little while.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, and it's crazy to think that, like, well, it's not that crazy because Wesker's a dickhead, but it's, you know, it was really kind of a twist to see Jill like literally working for Wesker after she tried to kill him. And...
You know what? Honestly, Wesker 2020. I'll take that. I will.
No, please, we're in enough trouble.
Let's get it.
We are in enough trouble.
Just wipe it all away. Just the whole thing.
Honestly valid.
Oh my god. Like I think I really do think that this game is a lot of fun, and I'm upset that I can't really talk too much about it because, like, after, like, as you said, we were ready to start recording, I was just finishing up the crab. So, like, it was so much fun, and I mean, we're kind of over time to talk about 6.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that was gonna happen.
Yeah, let's talk about 6, I guess. Rain, you're gonna have to take the helm on this one because I haven't even popped it. Can I just, before you start though, I just want to see if you agree with me. Rain, you know what the cover looks like, right? Of the game?
Yeah.
Tell me it doesn't look like a giraffe receiving a blowjob.
Oh, that's definitely what it is.
What? Oh, hold on. Okay. You can't just describe it like that and me not commit a Google search.
Zach, I can't wait for you to see it.
Resident Evil 6?
I feel like I'll know exactly when he sees it.
Is it the cover art?
Yeah, it's the cover art.
Yeah, literally look at the cover.
All right, here we go. I'm looking at it. The actual number 6 itself.
Yeah, look at the number 6.
You guys are fucking ridiculous.
Do you see it though?
I only see it because you said it, you know? Like I don't feel like if I hadn't, you know, if I didn't have giraffe fellatio on the brain, I probably wouldn't have picked that out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, I feel like this is now ruined for me. Like
anything for you, Zachary. Anything for you.
Oh my
like
God.
That is definitely one of those cover arts where the meme "graphic design is my passion" is applicable. So,
oh my God. Oh my God.
But
I changed my mind. I don't want to talk about Resident Evil 6 anymore.
I mean, okay, if it helps, I don't want to talk about Resident Evil 6 because and I have so many problems with this game.
All right, I think we can save that for its own episode. If that's
we'll have
okay
a whole
with
episode
everybody.
of rain grievances. It's just a full shit on Resident Evil 6
No,
podcast.
my problem is that I could tell you literally everything about Resident Evil 6 in probably under 5 minutes, and it'll be like you played the game.
All right, you want to? I'm pretty up for this challenge. You think you can do it?
I could definitely give you the entire plot of Resident Evil 6 in under like 5 minutes.
All right, let's do it.
Get it. I'll start a timer.
Here we go.
All right, you tell me when, because Zaxity's going to start a timer. So
I am. I've got one right here. Let me see. How do I get started?
Just like you say go.
5 minutes starting now.
All right, so Resident Evil 6, pretty much what the plot is you have a boy named Jake. He is Wesker's son. His blood holds the vaccine for the C virus. You have this girl, Sherry, who is a survivor from Raccoon City, learns about him, and she has to go pretty much save him as he is on the run from local authorities in some country. You don't need to know the country. It doesn't
Great.
matter.
We love that.
Yeah. They get attacked by Neo Umbrella, and then while that's happening, you have our boy Chris Redfield also getting attacked. He gets attacked by the leader, who is Ada Wong, in air quotes. She kills most of the BSAA members, and those she doesn't kill get infected with the C virus, except for Chris and Piers. Chris, this is why we all hate Chris. He ends up with post-traumatic amnesia and ends up a literal shit character with no personality, worse than he already was.
How do you take the personality away from the protagonist?
So take a manila folder.
I was just about to. You took my analogy. God damn it!
stick it in some water.
Yeah, it's
That's
terrible. Like,
That's like that's what it is.
like if a
Okay, the
saltine
game.
cracker was a character.
You guys are cutting into my 5 minutes.
Don't worry, I've kept track of your time. Keep going.
All right. Okay. Game takes place in 2013. The President of the United States is attempting to reveal what happened in Raccoon City. Right?
That was never
Nobody
good.
knows. That's like the whole thing. Nobody actually really knows what happens. What ends up happening is the venue where they're having this whole thing gets attacked by the C virus. So the president gets infected, the sole survivors who were there, everyone that's there gets infected. Leon, my boy Leon S. Kennedy, and the new character, United States Service Agent Helena, are forced to kill him. They pair up and encounter the real Ada Wong, and they find out that Neo Umbrella, who, came from regular Umbrella, are responsible for all of these attacks happening all over the world. They end up in China faking their death, so Neo Umbrella leaves them alone. The rest of this game is Chris attempting to find Ada Wong, because Ada Wong killed everybody that he knows. Leon trying to make him not kill Ada Wong, and Sherry and Jake trying to be like, hey, we have the cure! We have the cure! Over here! And nobody listening.
Oh boy. So wait a minute. Ada Wong killed everyone that Chris was in contact with?
No.
Does that mean Sheva's dead?
No.
Huge.
No. Ada Wong, okay. What the CEO of Neo Umbrella is faking being Ada Wong to kind of like cover their bases and being like, oh yeah, Ada Wong still works for us. She never left Umbrella. But she did. She realizes, oh shit, this is not correct. So everyone is they all team up. They're all like, we gotta get the fake Ada, we gotta get her out of here, we gotta kill her. And regular Ada, like real Ada, is just kind of like, I didn't do anything. The fuck you mean? I did this.
Ma'am, this is a choice.
Yeah, like it's pretty bad.
You've got a minute 30 left, Rain.
All right, cool. Minute 30. I'm going to describe to you the end of the game. Everyone teams up. Everyone works in pairs. So you have 6 characters at the end of this. Chris and Piers free Jake and Sherry from captivity because they were captured by Ada, and they go and fight against the bioweapon. The bioweapon's name is House. They are worse for not going to make it. Piers willingly infects himself. He defeats the bioweapon, and then he kills himself while destroying the main base.
Nice.
Jake and Sherry escape. They literally just fucking leave. That's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but there really isn't. Leon and Sherry destroy Neo Umbrella in China. They presumed dead, but they weren't dead. Ada kills is it Ada? Yeah, Ada kills the woman who pretended to be her, and Ada destroys the lab where the person was made, and everyone gets cleared for duty. The end.
Wow. With 17 seconds to spare.
And that, my friends, is Giraffe Blowjobs the game.
I would like to tender my resignation of the Tryforce podcast. It's been it's been a lot of fun, but there are just too many creative differences on the table. I wish Colton and Rain the best of luck with the rest of their podcasting. They're amazing. Please continue to follow their stuff. It's just it can't happen for us anymore, and that's fine. We've decided to split amicably as friends, except for me and Colton. He and I will never speak to each other ever again. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Oh my god. Before we end, though, hey, Zach, you'll be missed. We love you, except
you.
probably not Colton, only me.
Absolutely.
Probably not,
Zach,
yeah.
I feel like your actual resignation from this podcast will happen like that.
It'll have to happen live. There's no way I could think about it and like justify it as a reason. It has to be because of specifically something you said.
I'm glad that it's going to be something that Colton said, not something I said.
Not a doubt. You're always above board. This one,
Thanks. I do really quick want to take a minute and just say, you know that if I can explain to you pretty much everything in under 5 minutes in a game, that it's not good.
right.
And this
Yeah.
game is so... It's literally taking everything that you kind of knew about Resident Evil and just being like, hey, fuck that.
I really hope
And
that,
just
like,
throwing it in the carpet.
I really do hope that with this, like, redoing of the franchise, you know how they're kind of like they did Resident Evil 2 over, they did Resident Evil 3 just recently. I really kind of hope they redo a little bit of 5 and the entirety of 6. You know?
God, I feel like I understand what they wanted to do with 6 because they wanted to end the series. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to just end this story, and they did. But then you added in people being cloned and all of this, and I'm like, okay, so now I have more questions than I'll ever have answers. Because you wanted to just be done with your story. You wanted to be done with all of these characters, which, how dare they do my boy Leon S. Kennedy and Ada Wong like this?
Yeah, I feel like they needed to end every character's story in one game is just not it's not possible.
Yeah, it feels very Game of Thrones season 8 ending.
It
like
was
it's just like let's
very
wrap up
much.
all of these storylines in like 20 minutes.
And then what the fuck happened
Yeah.
to Jake and Sherry? You know?
Jake and Sherry, like, see, that's the whole thing. Like, Jake and Sherry, they were literally like, that's it. Sherry's an agent, so she's cleared to go back to do whatever the fuck, she was doing. And Jake decides that he's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna fight against all the shit my dad did because he was fucked up. Wow,
just-
amazing.
Jake Wesker just becomes the new Chris Redfield, and that's it. You know?
Like,
Well,
My
at
fav-
least he's breaking the cycle. Sorry.
my favorite thing is that Chris gets cleared for duty again, and I'm like, are we sure? Like, you're really sure that this man should go back?
He's got
They're-
the mental
The
capacity
FAA.
of the Nemesis, and
They're phoning that psychological profile in. They're like, yeah, all right, yeah, Chris, yeah, good to see you. He's like, I've wasted my life, and the zombies are all I can think about. It's like, gosh, Chris, you're a card.
what a kid! What a kid this guy!
For how shitty this game was, I do have to say, this version of Ada that's in this game was my first Resident Evil cosplay.
I mean, the designs were good.
Ada,
That's really it.
listen, this version of Ada, though, top notch. What a fucking... I love her. She could step on me. Amazing. 10 out of 10.
I mean, the
Everybody
designs
else,
were
though,
beautiful.
I'm kind of just like,
Not gonna lie though, if I had to pick one crush from Resident Evil, it's definitely Sheva Alomar. 100%. Didn't like the game she was in, but
valid.
that's fine. You know?
She is a new character, right?
Yeah.
That's her like her first game.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
unique to 5.
Well, yeah, of course she would be your crush from that particular game. You'd be like, oh yeah, here's that new girl and everyone else in the series.
I'm talking about from everyone in the series. I love Jill Valentine,
Oh, shit.
but like,
wow, okay.
yeah, but Sheva,
Wow, all right.
Sheva just came out one peg over Jill. So
Number one spot. All right, good shit. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I'm in. I agree with you. Like trust me, I'm not bashing you.
like Sheva just sounds like she's literally the smartest one in the room at all times. Like,
She was slightly annoying in the like she also had kind of like an Ashley mechanic where she like needed to be
yeah,
saved,
a little
but
bit,
like
but she had a gun. You know, she
but
wasn't
it's so much
Ashley.
easier. It's so much easier. She's like, I need some help over here, and then they're like, thanks, partner. And I'm like, yeah, no, that took
Yeah.
like 2 seconds.
And then like you're getting attacked by a zombie, and she just fucking backflip kicks it. I'm like, yes, queen, thank you.
I had to. The fact that you guys said she had a gun reminded me that when you beat the game, you do unlock a weapon for her.
Oh.
And it's a bow and arrow.
Oh, fuck yes. I mean,
And I just remember playing through the game with that, like on New Game, and it just being like, why did we use guns? They could have just given me this the whole time.
yeah, it is dumb. It is dumb powerful. So
Yeah, no, but anything that you get after the end of the game, you know is going to be dumb powerful.
I do, however,
on that-
love one gun in that game. I love the hand cannon, which is fun. Which is it's like a Magnum with a gigantic barrel, and it just tears ass like all the time. It's the Halo 1 pistol in Resident Evil. It's incredible.
I realized that there is A, good choice in gun. B, there is something I missed about Resident Evil 6 that I feel like should be said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that I have yet to beat it because of one part in Chris's story, because I've pretty much beaten like everybody else's story, because like you can beat all of them without beating the others. But
Interesting.
there's a part in Chris's story that, and multiple people have agreed with me on it, so it's not just like me being shit at video games. There's a part at the end of the game where you have to run away from house before Pierce does the whole injection thing. And if you pick to play as Chris, you're too fast for your partner to keep up. But if you play as the partner, then you're not fast enough to keep up with Chris.
That's
so
stupid.
yeah, so like it's one of the only parts in the game where people have literally been like, make sure you have somebody else play with you, because you need to have two people, like humans, playing this game, or the AI can't like keep up with you.
That's so stupid.
And if your partner gets hit, they die, so it's like, great, you're stuck in a never-ending loop of just not beating the fucking game.
Oh my god, fuck that. Yeah, that's literally like, Zach, Chris Redfield is basically just shittier Captain America. Like, he's amazingly phically adept, but that's it.
Yeah. I don't like to give Steve Rogers an inch, really, but I almost find Captain America more interesting. You know, like
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know who his voice actor is in 5. But man, I'm like, I have heard this man's voice before somewhere. And it's not like oh, who's that actor? It's like, oh, this guy has voiced every white male protagonist for the last 15 years.
It's like he's the same guy that voices every character that looks like that.
Yeah,
You know?
without a doubt. Easily, dude. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. He's got a lot of voices. There's a lot of voices here. The Umbrella Chronicles? Okay, I don't know what any of this crap means. I don't know Resident Evil.
I don't know. You literally just sounded like my mom going through video games. Like, I don't know what any of this shit is.
being compared to your mother is obviously an honor.
Absolutely.
Marketing and release. Do I have to go to this fucker's IMDb? God damn it!
I'm looking at his like works right now.
That's
So-
so funny.
Evil 5. Chris.
Okay, wait, this is really
please. I'm not
important.
contributing anything, so go ahead.
Chris Redfield's voice actor literally voices Captain America. So
You're shitting me.
Oh,
I am
stop
not-
it.
Roger
Literally-
Craig Smith. It's Roger Craig
Yeah.
Smith. He's literally done every white male protagonist in the last 20 years.
literally has voiced Captain America.
Marvel Future Avengers 2020.
He voices Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes,
I
he
gotta go.
does. Yes, he does. Oh
tell you
my
exactly.
god.
Nice to know you guys. I have to leave immediately.
Tell you exactly who else he voiced. It's I do believe he is oh wow.
He's one of
He
my favorite
definitely did.
voices in Naruto, so that fucks
He did do one of the voices, but that's a Naruto video game, Shinobi Striker, Naruto to Boruto. He's Datara, who is the man.
He was him in the anime too, so.
Yeah, I think he was. Oh, that's how I remember him. He was obviously Diamond Head in Ben 10, which is great.
Yeah.
And he definitely did the voice of Ezio Auditore de Firenze in Assassin's Creed. One of them, or many of them, actually. And Arkham Origins. That's the one. That's the one I remember him from. He was literally Batman / Bruce Wayne in Arkham Origins, which I spent far too long playing for the quality of game that it is. But, man, did I tell you something? Yeah, so he plays a bunch of Ezio, yeah, and I still love Assassin's Creed. I'm very excited for the new one, but he was Ezio in Revelation. So I'm like, yeah, I just guess like, you know, you kind of have like that flashbulb memory of like, oh, I've definitely heard this guy's voice before, but I heard it in such a way where I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, this is a voice that fits this face. You know?
Sometimes, man, you hear a voice and you go, "That's a white guy."
But like Roger Craig Smith is one of the funniest voice actors on Twitter. I love him. I've also realized that he has voiced Sonic the Hedgehog since 2010, and that fucking hurts me.
I'm so sorry for him.
That hurts me.
Alright, now that we've gotten so off topic, I'm going to bring us back to just say, I think we have completed Resident Evil.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say so.
I think we're done. I don't ever want to talk about 7, so...
Seven was weird.
Don't suggest it. Don't request it. We won't do it.
Yeah, we will not. That's not something that'll be happening.
Oh, man. So we'll figure out what we're going to do next week and get the fuck out of here.
Another week of quarantine content, folks.
Oh, we fooled him again, folks.
Hey, guys, it's quarantine.
Quarantine! Yes!
Thank you.
Yes! We love that.
I don't make puns often, but when I do.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my heart is soaring right now. I can't even tell you.
Alright, thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in next week when we talk about some other thing.
Absolutely. Follow me on Twitter at CTrainMedia.
You can follow me on Twitter at ZachThatWhip and at ZFormArts on Instagram for my art.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Oh No It's Rain, and as usual, there's still Felix all the time.
But like that's perfect.
Same Felix time, same Felix channel.
Well, you know what they say.
Oh man, follow us on the Tryforce Twitter at the Tryforce _ and on Twitch at the same name. Do we have to keep calling out this person? Because I don't think they listen to the show.
I don't know.
I don't think they listen to this either, but at this point, it's just my go-to thing.
I think that they do, but like they are like reveling in the silence. They're reveling.
They're holding on to this name out of spite now.
They're Albert Wesker behind the desk just waiting for us, just sitting there, just like, good.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I need for you to talk about this.
All right.
And you could follow us on Instagram at Just the Tryforce.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we're going to continue to try all throughout quarantine to get you all this good content.
Force some information out of all of us for games that we don't play.
Oh, good night.
Oh, man.
Bam, 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 bam.
Chill!
Stars!
Stars!